Did you know that you can swallow skincare? Jen and I know that the vitamin space can feel crowded and confusing. And to be honest, we turn down sponsorships from vitamin companies all the time. But we said yes to Ritual. It's different. They share their science and their sourcing with customers, so you can feel good about what you're buying. And now they've got something new. Ritual Hyacera, a supplement that can enhance your skincare routine from the inside out.
That's right, fam. I did some homework on this one. Ritual's Hyacera has two of the best clinically studied ingredients. Ceratique, a phytoceramide-rich plant oil that helps to minimize the appearance of wrinkles, and Hyabest, a form of hyaluronic acid that helps to hydrate the skin from the inside out. Listen, I usually have issues with hyaluronic acid. I have talked about them on the podcast. Topical products with hyaluronic acid don't always work on me, but I have dry skin, so I want that extra hydration. And I've been taking the Hyacera supplement, and I am impressed. First of all, it's the coolest looking capsule I've ever seen and doesn't give you the vitamin burps. I know you know what I'm talking about. You just swallow it and there's like a vague vanilla experience, I'll call it, when you swallow it, but it's really nice and easy going down. And I also love the company's Made Traceable program, which lets you review their science and their sourcing info, which I did, obviously. Plus, Ritual supplements are vegan, gluten-free, soy-free, and they don't contain artificial colors.
Aging like fine wine, addressing fine lines, and making your skincare a little simpler every day. Hyacera from Ritual is a skin supplement you can actually trust. Ritual is offering our listeners 30% off during your first month. Visit ritual.com/mascara to start Ritual or add Hyacera to your lineup today. Hey everyone, welcome to Fat Mascara. I'm Jess.
Welcome, welcome. I'm Jen. Here we are.
Jen, now today is a replay. So if you're listening to this right now, know that the episode you're going to hear has been carefully selected. We thumbed through the Fat Mascara archives and we picked it in an episode that we thought would be just perfect to dust off and replay for your ears. But in real time right now, Jen is hopefully safely, just as carefully climbing a mountain.
Wait, now that you've said it out loud, it sounds ridiculous. This is part of the reason we took some time off in August, because Jen decided
so that Jen could climb a mountain.
So Jen could do something crazy. Guys, I planned this. I don't know, coming out of the pandemic, I was like, I need a challenge. And I have done mountaineering.
Don't you think life is challenging enough, Jen? Jeez.
Now that I have seen myself through the training for this summer, and probably right this moment as I'm carrying my 35-pound pack up the 10,000-foot mountain that I'm climbing.
Oh my God, that's almost like a lake. That's like lake is just a little bit over 35 pounds. You're carrying a lake up a mountain?
Oh yeah, for like a full day at a time.
For those who aren't like frequent listeners, that's my daughter. A lake,
yeah.
like a lakey.
Yes, that is her daughter. I'm trying to inspire future generations, like Lake. See what you can do if you put your mind to it. No, seriously, this is a downfall of mine, but maybe an upside. I need a deadline and a project and a challenge to like keep the momentum of life moving forward. So I give myself these ridiculous tasks. So here I am, I signed up, but this one is fun because Eric's coming with me for the first time. Now I've done mountaineering before. Eric has never even been above 10,000 feet elevation. I've been up to like 20,000 feet elevation. So
when was he up on 10,000 feet? Like, why would he be even up that high?
Do you know what? I realized that as I was talking about this with him, he was like, in what world why would I be at 10,000 feet? Because to me, it's just so natural that, well, when you go on a hike or you're out in Colorado and you want to do a 14er, I don't know, I've spent a lot of time above, I don't think he's been to Denver, so he's been a mile high. And
how did he climb up there? Or did he take a car up there? Like I went to the top of Mount Washington, but my dad had like a sticker that said like, this car climbed Mount Washington.
Okay, so then you've had some elevation experience. I'm not sure how high Mount Washington is, but a lot of us East Coasters here on the East Coast of the United States spend our lives at sea level. And there's something really special about being up in the mountains and like testing your body in higher altitudes because it makes things harder. So anyway, I wanted to do this climb in South America that is like an 18,000 foot mountain. And I was like ready to sign up and everything with Eric. And then we realized they wouldn't let Eric come because he's never had training. He doesn't know how he's going to do at elevation.
They wouldn't let him come.
No, it's not safe. Some people don't do well at elevation. They get elevation sickness, etc. He's never had training with mountaineering. He's never been on crampons, using ice axe, etc. So I signed up the Sullivan family. As we speak, I am climbing Mount Shuckson in well, it's not quite the Cascades, but it's outside of Seattle, and it's a mountaineering course. And let's hope I make it because my 45-year-old knees are not the same knees that got me up those other mountains in my 30s and 20s. So I don't know, Jess. It's been stressful, but so send me all your love right now, guys, and I'm going to feel it in my vibes and hopefully make it to the top of the mountain.
I just have a few safety questions. Are you going with a group?
Yes, I am. And there will be a mountaineering guide, and there are 7 of us on the group. Yes.
All ages?
I actually just got the email with their names, and I have not yet stalked them online, which feels like I might do. I am just praying I'm not the oldest, but I think there's a good chance I might be. I don't know, because I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to keep up with the group. I really am.
Okay. And is there like, you'll have cell service, a horn, something,
a horn,
a whistle?
The guide will have a sat phone just in case. It can be dangerous. So, we're going on glacier. That's why you do the training courses. So you know what you're doing. You're roped into your teammates. You trust them. You have an ice axe. You have crampons. You get all the safety teachings beforehand. So it's not like I'm just trying to do it by myself. We'll see how it goes. I will be reporting back when we get back to the studio with our regularly scheduled programming, which comes in 2 weeks before you know it, with our 500th episode. I'm so excited. But until then.
It's very exciting.
Shall we get into this amazing replay episode?
Okay, let's talk
about an inspiring woman.
Yeah, an explorer of yes. I'm picturing, like Blake has all these books about inspiring women, like
Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and
yeah, she has like Eva Chen has like a best-selling one. I'm forgetting the name. Sorry, Eva Chen. There's cute ones with like Beyonce now, and then there's of course like Susan B. Anthony, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Who is another inspiring woman?
You've named a bunch.
No, give me another one. Who's one that you like?
Balanda Atis.
Okay, Balanda Atis. Tell me why Balanda Atis is inspiring.
Okay.
Why does she belong in Eva Chen's book?
So right now her job is that she's the assistant vice president for scientific communications for L'Oréal Paris, but she is a chemist. She's worked at L'Oréal for years. Way back in 2006, they gave her the project of overhauling the foundations made by L'Oréal Paris companies to make them better for women of color, more inclusive, a project that took 7 years. I remember, we talked about this in the episode, she studied every country, had more than 1,000 people's skin tones tested to work on the shades of the foundation. And so we interviewed Balanda in August, I believe, of 2019. So what is that now? 4 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Some of the work she did, though, is pioneering in making makeup more inclusive and more diverse. Fenty came out in like 2017, but at that time, a lot of the big brands, and I think the narrative is sort of like, oh, Fenty changed everything. And it did. But we brushed.
Yes, it did. Yes, I did it. But it did. But rewind. We got to talk about what Balanda did.
Well, right. I just said like in 2006, she was already working on this. So she was doing much of the same stuff. And there were other brands that were doing it as well, not to the level that Fenty did. But she's still doing that. When we have this interview, she talks to us about how you make a foundation color. Remember oxidation when we learned that was a myth? How many makeup artists have told us like, oh, your color oxidized? Balanda was like, that's not what's happening.
Balanda also talked about a special pigment.
Ultramarine blue, if I remember correctly. But you're about to listen to the interview, so you will hear for yourself. So like I said, since this aired, she has a new position. She's now in scientific communications for L'Oréal Paris. And she's super inspiring. We had such a great chat. And we're excited to bring it to you as a replay while I go climb a mountain, if that's okay with everybody. Welcome to Fat Mascara.
Thank you for having me. We want to get our listeners to know you a little bit better before they hear about all like the cool like worky stuff you do, like all like the, your resume. Let's just get to know you.
Okay.
All right. What is the most embarrassing song on your playlist?
Embarrassing song on my playlist. So let's start off by saying I'm embarrassed that I don't have a playlist.
you that was a good out. A good out.
I really don't.
Okay. All right. Do you have a most embarrassing favorite song? Something that really gets you going?
I do.
Okay.
I do. So the song came about when I used to, not when I used to because I still travel to Paris, but the time difference, they're 6 hours ahead. So basically when you're waking up is actually the time you're falling asleep in the U.S.
Horrible.
So getting up in the morning to go to work is super, super hard. So we had a song. It was called our motivation song in the car. It is by Bare Naked Ladies called If I Had $1 Million.
Oh, I like that song. It's good. It's a great song.
It was our motivation. It was like, okay, if I only had $1 million.
That's really cute. So we need to dig a little bit deeper. Okay, I don't have a playlist. Okay. Favorite ice cream flavor?
Favorite ice cream flavor? I am a soft serve. So vanilla, soft serve.
What's your topping?
Sprinkles, rainbow sprinkles.
Rainbow, thank you.
In a sugar cone and drop it into a cup so I can crumble up the sugar cones and kind of make it a sundae.
This is very Chemist of her.
I
That's a Chemist answer right there.
Okay, what's the job you thought you were going to have when you were a little kid?
Little kid? I can't say when I was a little kid. Actually, I take it back. When I was a little kid, I wanted to be like my mom who did hair. So I wanted to be a hairstylist because my mother was a cosmetologist. So she went to beauty school. So that's what I wanted to do. But then as I got older, I became a little bit more tomboyish and then decided that I wanted to do forensic pathology.
Okay.
And now she makes makeup.
And now I make makeup.
That was a left turn. Okay.
It was before CSI. So I really felt good about that.
Favorite movie?
The Fugitive.
Oh, good one.
I love that movie.
That's
I think I can recite word for word. It's sad.
And the forensics thing comes in there too, right?
Yeah. That was a good movie for investigative work.
They don't make movies like that anymore.
They don't.
They really don't. Okay. And what's your happy place?
My happy place, I have to say, are with my kids. As much as they drive me crazy, it's with my kids.
You have two, right?
I have two. I have a 3-year-old and a 13-year-old. My 13-year-old is adopted. So growing up, I was told I had to grow up and have a child. So when I found that out, I adopted, not realizing that's not what they meant. They meant like I should have a child.
Families get made in all sorts of ways.
Exactly. So, but then eventually I had my 3-year-old, which was not planned, but super happy to have her. But it's really I guess it's my happy place. As much as they drive me crazy, I love the love they give. It's really unconditional love. So it's great.
That's really nice.
All right. Now let's make it less lovey.
Yeah.
Let's get to business.
So you have a big job. What exactly is it that you do and how did you get into it?
So, what I do exactly,
head of the Multicultural Lab and Face Lab.
I have a great job. I have to say, if I had to pick and choose what I want to do, I can't see myself doing anything else. I get a chance to really touch a lot of different people in different aspects, whether it's creating a formula or working with the chemists with their expertise to create products or with our support teams to create products. It's great all around. So I have a wonderful time exploring and understanding our consumers, understanding what they want, what they don't want. And from there, we learn what we have to create. And the creation portion is really the fun part. You really get into, you can say, the nitty-gritty of things. You get to understand the details, the not so many details. Creating formulations is like a recipe. You can have a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but at the end, it has to come together to make something really fantastic. So the way we see is that, we're chefs in our own right, because we're really trying to find that synergistic effect, that what makes 1 + 1, really equal 2 in a great way. So it's fun.
You work on a lot of L'Oreal brands? That's L'Oreal Corporation. So can you just name some of the companies and brands people might know that you've made products for?
Yeah, that's the great part at L'Oreal. We're able to touch so many different brands and give our expertise to so many different areas in different ways. So we have Lancôme, we have L'Oreal Paris, we have Maybelline, we have Urban Decay, we have Dermablend, NYX,
like I said,
it goes on.
There's something in your makeup bag Balanda worked on.
I know that some of our listeners might be, they heard us say like multicultural beauty lab and they think, I've never heard of that. Or like, what does that actually mean versus just, somebody who's working on color products at brand X? Like what is special about the multicultural beauty lab?
Yeah, so historically, the consumers that we've all been focusing on was the primary consumer that we saw in the populations, which were people of fair skin tone, primarily Caucasians or Europeans. Now that we're growing into really a more diverse world, a more diverse culture, we see that we have different skin tones and different ethnicities that are becoming more mainstream. And because of that, we saw the need to have more specific research to understand what they want and what they need. So multicultural beauty simply means understanding really consumers of all different backgrounds and understanding how we as a corporation can provide products for them.
I heard that part of your job, because every time I've tried to interview you or get you to come on this podcast, is travel. I swear, the people that I was arranging this with, it was like, nope, she's in, Ghana that week, then Paris this week, then Jamaica this week. Those countries might be wrong. But why do you travel so much for your job? They tell me you're taking pictures of women. What are you doing? What are you doing, Balanda?
It's part of understanding our consumers. Again, L'Oreal is a global company. We have consumers in really every part of the world. So we really want to understand their needs. And so the traveling is to understand their skin, understanding the colors that make up their skin, understanding what they want in a product, understanding what we can deliver to them. So it's building that knowledge so that when we go back into the laboratory, our scientists and our chemists can be able to create products specific to them and to that region.
So are you going out and in a country and just talking to regular women like us and saying, what do you like, what don't you like? Or are you doing science work and getting out labs and beakers and cameras and stuff?
Both.
Oh, okay. So
interestingly enough, both. We have a portion where we're listening to them and we get fabulous types of information from them. But the one thing about people and people around the world, when they want something, they know what they want and they're ready to share it with you. Mm-hmm. So we get really passionate people who say, look, I want you to do X, Y, and Z. I make sure you have 1, 2, 3.
What's something that everybody seems to want these days?
Everyone wants to look like themselves, but better.
Mm-hmm.
So no one wants to change.
So where does foundation fit in then?
Foundation is exactly that. Foundation is just enhancing your natural beauty. I always say that everyone is beautiful in their own right. There's no one person who is really better than the other, internal or external. It's really your inner beauty that makes you more beautiful externally. So everyone just wants to see themselves and to see themselves, but maybe with a little bit of enhancement.
So one thing more about foundation, I'm sure when you're out on the street and talking to everyone, they may have ideas about what kind of foundations they need or what's missing from the market. Why is it so hard to find a foundation that's a perfect match?
Well, think about it in this way. We're all unique. And we're always going to have challenges in finding what's perfect for us. I like to say your skin tone, and when we start to measure skin tone, we can start to say your skin tone numbers and the colors that make up your skin are very unique to yourself.
How do you measure skin tone? Sorry to interrupt, but I was like, make sure you tell us that part too. That sounds exciting.
So measuring skin tone can be done in different ways. Basically, the idea is to capture the image of your skin, and instead of taking, say, a picture, it translates to numbers. So those numbers actually break down to give you the exact composition of the colors in your skin. So if I were to capture your skin today, I would be able to see how red you are, how yellow, how white, even if there is some black in your skin, red, yellow, green. So we get to see a lot of different aspects. And from that information, we calculate what is your perfect shade.
Mm-hmm. And back to Jess's question, why can't I find one that matches perfectly all the time?
Because the uniqueness of your skin. So what we really try to do.
Sorry. Is it like you couldn't find like everyone, like she'd be unique, I'd be unique. Like there's so many kinds. There's as many foundations that there are people, like that kind of thing?
It could potentially be, but what we do is that we group them together. We create buckets for skin tone. So if you can see, there's, say, 40 shades. Within those 40 shades, what we do is we try to find the most populated areas and create shades based on that area. Mm-hmm. So although you're very unique in your, say, specific color, we can create something that will match you. And then if you were similar in skin tone, match you as well.
Okay. So, you know what's been interesting, like as an editor, both Jen and I have noticed, L'Oreal, and I'm not just saying this to be nice because you're here, but like L'Oreal has been doing, really, a wide spectrum of shades for a long time. I remember like True Match when I believe Beyonce was the face. Yes. Like this was like a long time ago. I mean, this was not a new concept to L'Oreal. And now, when Jen and I get new foundation launches, they're like, we have 40, we have 41, we have 45, and then someone comes out with 12 and they're absolutely torn apart on social media. Maybe they're a small brand, maybe they are a brand that doesn't care, who knows. What is your takeaway on this? Because I find it fascinating.
Yeah, it's kind of what I was saying before. Shades can be infinite. If we look at, we actually have a brand, Lancôme, who has a wonderful device. It's called Le Teint Particulier, where you can actually go in and have a customized shade for you. And it's really for those women who aren't able to, say, go to a mass store or to go to even a luxe counter to identify their shade. So you go there, they do the same type of scanning and measurement that I was saying before, and it doses specifically your shade. So you have your exact shade.
That's cool.
So you can either go that route or try to go to a mass and kind of work in, our system where we kind of, like I say, bucket those shades for you. So it makes it a little bit easier. In terms of the diversity or the range of shades today, you're right. It can go anywhere from, I've seen 6 go up to 100. I mean,
who has 100 foundation shades? Brands around the world.
Shades, yes, I've seen.
Do you think that there's we still haven't solved it yet, and there's still more buckets to be had, or do you feel like we're good? Like, what's your take?
I think we're at a very good place, and we, understanding how we provide our products to our consumers, how we sell our products. It's not so easy to say I can just put 100 shades in front of someone and make it easy for that consumer to find, because there's also that aspect as well. One of the biggest pain points for women is not only having a shade that matches them, but trying to find it.
Yeah.
So when you get in front of a range and you see 60, 70, 80 shades, it's super challenging for a person who doesn't understand how to pick a foundation. Even I, as an expert, sometimes I sit and I look there. I have to stare at it for a minute to understand, okay, the difference between this one and that one. The nuances can be so small. Remember, we were talking about how the differences of skin tone is just by number value. You can imagine when we start to create ranges, we are also dealing in that very small aspect, those small different buckets. So it's a challenge. So it's either you try to make it as simple as possible. Some brands, they go really small, or you make it as complicated and kind of lose the consumer.
And then just from, because since you're working within, you're not a makeup artist, you're working within a huge corporation, where does stuff like shelf space come into mind? Is it we got to pump the brakes because we're at 40? What's the practicality?
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. That's why it's impossible for us to put out 100, 200 shades or, to be like a Le Teint Particulier where you can have customized shades up to 5,000 different matches. It's impossible. So because we have these restrictions and these constraints, we have to figure out what is ideal. If we're putting out 40, we have to make sure it's the best possible 40. And that's why it's so important for us to make sure that we understand, again, the consumer, the colors of her skin, and to make sure we marry it with the colorants that we use.
And so when you're looking at these 40 shades, and I'm just a consumer here, why is it, as an expert, tell me, that in the bottle, even if it's a perfectly clear bottle, I'll be like, that really looks like my skin tone. At this point, I kind of know to go to the yellowy olive, a little light. And then you put it and you do a swatch on your cheek. Tell me if that's the wrong place to do it, along my jawline. And it's
the right place.
Oh, okay, good. So we got that right. And it looks nothing like it does in the bottle. What happens with chemistry between looking at it in the bottle and putting it on your face?
So let me see if I can find an analogy. But basically what's happening is that you have to allow for your solvents to dry, to flash off. Because really what gives you the color is a powder. Right? And you have to put your powder in a medium. So think of salt and water. You kind of put salt in water, it dissolves. You don't see it. So you have to wait. If you want to see that salt come back, you have to let it flash off, dry, and then you have the crystals form over again. So it's kind of the same way of a foundation. You have to wait for those solvents or the fluids to dry, and then you see the color. So it's a transition.
And can it change? So if I see I'm seeing the pigment through the lens of these solvents, and that's why it might look different in the bottle. So really you can't judge unless you let it dry on your face.
That is true.
But how quick? That happens fairly quickly, right?
For the formulations that I'm accustomed with, I can't speak for anything
sure.
outside, but we like to say about 5 minutes or so.
Oh, wow. So you have to wait a little bit to see if it's going to match.
When we're doing real evaluations, we like to wait like 5 minutes. But as a consumer, the consumer doesn't have that time. So if you don't put a layer that's too thick, then you're possibly able to get away with, less time than that. And you can, as you start to develop and understand foundation and you apply more, you'll understand what a dry time is for you.
And I hear a lot of women talk about this now that there's so many colors out there, which is such great news for a lot of women. They talk a lot about oxidation. And I hear this all the time online as a comment. And I was like, is that really what's happening? They say, oh, this color oxidized or it turned orange. Is that really what's going on? She's shaking her head. What is that?
It's an interesting term. I don't know where that term came about.
Yeah, right? You've heard it.
It's an old term that's been used, but I'm not quite sure what it means. But it's really the evaporation.
It's a thing that you explained.
Exactly.
So it's not free radicals forming the turn orange or whatever.
No.
All right, people hear that? Balanda will tell you.
It's actually not that
it's
dramatic.
It's really just the evaporation and then allowing for it to dry. But also keep in mind, formulations are very specific. So you have to have the correct colorants to make sure you don't have this huge shift of shade, because color is natural. Color can continue to develop. It's naturally derived, right? So what a lot of our formulations have are pigments that are specially designed so it doesn't transition. So when you put it on, the color you have from the point of your application, once it dries, stays the same until the end of your wear. So if you ever see you put it on, it dries in like 1 hour, it looks one way. At the end of the day, it looks like something different. Maybe the formulation hasn't been designed in a way to make sure those pigments stay true, but it really is based on the formulation and the type of pigments you use. It's very important.
Balanda's like, if that happens, it wasn't one that I designed.
We have an amazing team of scientists around the world and amazing formulators that know exactly how to create the best products.
Hey everyone, we're talking about Aloe Moves today. Summer is a very busy time. Family stuff, work stuff, a lot of time at the old desk, but I need to stay fit. And Aloe Moves is pushing me to my wellness goals. I can get little bite-sized workouts in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes if I'm feeling really like pushing it.
20 minutes, let's be honest, we've been doing a lot of the 10-minute ones. But there's variety on Aloe Moves, so we're covered. It's a streaming on-demand wellness platform that features yoga practices, fitness routines, meditation sessions, so much more from one of our favorite brands, Aloe Yoga. This summer, I have been doing my new favorite. I don't know if you discovered this one yet, Jess, is JC Cunningham's Stretch Your Feet. 10 minutes, just 10 minutes. All you need is a little strap and you can get that arch stretched out.
I love that this is a no judgment platform.
Jess, I agree. Exactly. This summer, make time for your wellness goals with Aloe Moves. For a limited time, Aloe Moves is offering our listeners 30 days free plus 20% off an annual membership. This is like the best code and deal we have. You can only get it by going to aloemoves.com and using code MASCARA20. That's MASCARA20 in all caps. You're going to go to aloemoves.com, A-L-O moves.com, and then put in the code MASCARA20. You'll get a free 30-day trial plus 20% off an annual membership. That's aloemoves.com, code MASCARA20 in all caps. We have a new obsession here at Fat Mascara. It is Quince. It's our new go-to fashion shopping site. You know how we like to not lean into the fast fashion of it all. I like quality. I like a little luxury. I also don't like spending a lot. That's what Quince is all about. Instead of flimsy fast fashion hauls, you can spend your money on high-quality stuff that will be timeless and will look beautiful for years to come.
Oh my God, I got something called a 100% European linen button front dress. This is the dress where you feel like you are in an Italian film. Maybe you're in a French film. I don't know. You're in a beautiful European, hazy, sunlit vacation with a little straw bag. For our European listeners, are probably like, stop with the European stuff. But you know what I'm saying.
The best part about that dress, I know that dress. It's under $50.
It's under $50. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium eco-friendly fabrics and finishes.
Upgrade your closet this summer with Quince. Right now, go to quince.com quince.com/fatmascara. I'm so excited we have a website with them. I love this site. Quince.com/fatmascara to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/fatmascara for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/fatmascara. Okay, you've heard us talk about hemps here at Fat Mascara. We love their body lotions. Well, guess what? All your favorite scents of hemps now come in scrubs and body washes. They're all plant-based, vegan, and cruelty-free. And yes, there's a fragrance-free option for those of you who want that. But I am loving the scrub right now. I am, first of all, not gloopy-doopy. You know how we hate a gloopy scrub.
Hate it.
Hemp's original herbal sugar scrub. The texture on this is so good. And the scent, take me away.
I want to be taken away by Hemp's. They have an incredible wash with 3-in-1 formulas. You know I'm a girl on the go. You can exfoliate with glycolic acid. You're going to clean while it's going to moisturize you at the same time. And it hydrates you with that 100% natural hemp seed oil. Also has shea butter. Jen and I have been talking about shea butter basically since we were born. And aloe vera. And can I tell you about the scents?
Please do.
Sweet pineapple and honey melon. Triple moisture, which is a really nice scent. Original herbal, pomegranate herbal. I mean, these are popsicle flavors. I love it.
It's a tropical delight. Elevate your shower routine with Hemp's new body washes and scrubs. They're available at Ulta Beauty and Hempz.com. That's Hempz, Hempz with a Z. Make sure to check it out today.
Okay, so moving on from foundation, because obviously you've worked on other products too. What's up with color payoff? So Jess and I often talk about we used to have these little, these huge kits with all these eyeshadows when we were little under the Christmas tree, and you'd wipe your finger in it and it'd be like, where's the color? They looked really pretty in the pan, but then no color. What's going on with that?
Hard as a rock.
It goes back to the formulation. It's all about putting in those right ingredients to make sure that the color, the payoff is there. And also the processing. Processing is very important for powder products. If you press it too hard, you get a hard cake. There's no pickup.
So not enough product got on my finger.
Exactly.
Oh.
So it's like you're pressing it super hard.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't press it too hard, you can have amazing pickup, but then it breaks.
Oh, we
Your
know
cake
that.
will break.
I have some colors that have happened too.
Or you drop it and it breaks.
I quite prefer that, though. I'd just be careful. I want it to be soft like butter.
And a lot of the formulations that you see today have started to take some of the learnings over the years and have created products that are much easier in terms of pickup, so you have much better payoff.
Okay.
Let's talk about mascara. Shall we?
Mascara is my baby.
Yeah, you started your career making mascaras, right?
I started my career making mascaras.
Also, if you Google her, there's 8 patents for mascara technologies with Balanda Atis' name. Am I right?
I love mascara.
Why
it was fun.
It so hard?
Why is it so hard to make a great mascara? And why does mine still smudge? Please fix. Thank you.
Well, why is it so hard to make a great mascara? Again, it's just understanding the right balances in the formulation. Also understanding your lash type, because your lash type is hair. Your lashes are hair. So think of the hair on your head. We all don't have the same lash type. If you look at Asian lashes versus Caucasian lashes, Asian lashes point down. They're typically sparse and short. So they kind of spread apart and they're really short. So their need for mascara types are very different than, say, a Western person who has, say, these long lashes, and they may not be super full, but they have a curl to it. Mm-hmm. So you may not need a super curly mascara, which you would find in Asia, but you would need maybe a more volumizing. So it's understanding the type of mascara you need for your lash type.
Mm-hmm. Do you think most mascaras crumble? It's not
no.
People. Oh, okay, we're done. You answer my question. I just figured, people say, I didn't like this one. It smudged. It crumbled. I'm like, well, you wore it for 16 hours, and you're tearing, and you're
But not
it's
all
just
of
like
them
wear
do.
and tear.
Not all
What
of them
mascaras do you like? You have so many to choose from at L'Oreal.
I do. So what I'm wearing today, I'm wearing Lash Sensational. So I prefer a comb application versus a bristle application. I find that with my lash type, this is again understanding what your lash type is, I get a better deposit of mascara. I can spread them out so I have a nice fan effect, and it gives me volume. I am the typical fake lash girl, so I like a very dramatic look on my eye.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always looking for what I can build, and that it gives me a very dramatic
good to
effect.
know. That gives you the big thing.
Yeah, and this is how you have to play. So for years, there was just the one option of a bristle brush. Today, we have combs. And again, with the combs, you're able to deposit more in the reservoirs of the brush.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get more on your lash.
Do you work with people to design the comb to fit the formula?
Yes. So in mascara, we like to say it's like a 50-50 relationship. It's like the mascara itself, the formula is 50%, and then the brush is 50%, or the applicator.
That big of an importance. That's
a
lot.
It is. You can have a phenomenal formula and a horrible brush, and then vice versa. So you have to have the right mix, the right combination that give you the optimal effect.
Okay. So can we talk about regular color cosmetics, not skin tone matching color cosmetics? What's the hardest color for you to make in a lab? Like red, blue, green, purple, whatever. Like, are any of them very difficult?
Let me think. My expertise is really mascara and face.
Okay.
So in terms of lip, I couldn't give you a fair. I wouldn't be able to give you a fair evaluation.
Even in foundation, are certain colors more difficult? Like if someone has like a yellow base, yellows are really hard because whatever reason. I mean, if there's no answer, there's no answer.
No, I think for face is a little bit. There are challenges. Definitively, there are challenges, but understanding the colors of the skin makes it a lot easier. In the past, we didn't have that option. We didn't have that knowledge. So we were, I don't want to say winging it, but it was a little bit more difficult for us to understand what shades to create. But now that we have the consumer piece, we understand the consumer, it makes it a lot easier for us to create. But there's still challenges.
I heard you discovered something called ultramarine blue to like help make dark skin tone foundations look more natural.
Yeah, I can't take credit for creating it.
Right.
It was a pigment that had been around for years. And if you know a bit about hair, the way to achieve, say, the deepest black is by adding blue. So if you take the same concept into, say, skin, how do you achieve more natural, vibrant skin tone, skin reflective shades without making it black and dirty? And that's by adding blue. So ultramarine blue allowed us to go deeper in tone, but keep a very natural appearance on the skin. So it doesn't have
like an ashy blackness.
Doesn't have an ashy black.
It has like a rich, inky kind of.
It has I want to say it feels like butter, but it's a richness and a depth that kind of melts into the skin. It almost looks like it's not there. The pigment itself is not very opaque or pacifying, so it's pretty sheer, but it gives you the color. So it doesn't mask the skin. It just gives you a vibrancy to the skin.
And is that in every shade of, like, say, a L'Oreal True Match foundation, or just certain shades?
Certain shades. And this comes from the knowledge of understanding skin. I'll even go as far as saying it doesn't mean specifically only deeper tones have ultramarine blue. If you look at different skin tones, you can have, say, a blue undertone and super fair skin. We're also understanding more so how to create better olive skin tones. So it's really just understanding how to use the different colorants based on the different groups that we're creating shades for.
This is so much more complicated than I ever thought. What do you want to make for yourself? Like, if you had a dream product, have you ever made a product just for yourself? Like, I really want a purple eyeshadow, or I want a mascara with this kind of brush, but it's never going to sell, but I want it.
And are you allowed to tell us about it?
Probably not.
Didn't think so.
But if we went in your makeup kit at home, would there be things that you just like whipped up myself a little sheer foundation?
So I will tell you, in my previous years of L'Oreal, when I got to really play on the bench, I would create products. I would create products because I'm like, I think I need this. So I would create a formula. I'd add different things to it, take it home, love it, go back and make it again, and just keep using it. So, yes, I have. I've created things specifically for me.
I want Balanda's special product that never made it to the market. Can I ask
first.
what type of product it was?
It was for my lashes. To be honest with you, we did end up launching something very similar to it in Asia. Cool. And it was a big success. So I'll tell you what it is because it launched. Mm-hmm. It was actually one of my first patents on identifying the use of fibers to extend the lashes and to give you volume. And as I was telling you before, I like the big volume fake lash effect.
You invented fiber mascara?
One of the original formulas that we had for L'Oreal, one of the first formulas was from our lab, and yes, that was one of the patents that I worked on.
That's so cool.
So it was super fun because I got to play with like the different fibers, and I was identifying which fibers work. They were like different colors and different lengths and different sizes. So I got to play with like really dramatically long lashes or fibers to give me dramatic lashes, and then really short ones. So the days I got to play with like the really long ones, those are the ones that stayed in my pocket.
Oh, you got the extra long special?
Yes.
Supersized lashes?
Yeah.
So, okay, we know that you're a mascara queen, but what else is kicking around in your, little bag at home? Your caboodle?
Do you have a caboodle?
I don't have a caboodle, but I have a little makeup bag. Face powder. Face powder is like my next big project.
What are some of your favorites
on? To be honest with you, I don't have one.
You want to make the perfect one.
My ambition is to make the best face powder.
Okay. And what's wrong with the current face powders?
So specifically for my skin tone, the challenge is having something that doesn't give you an ashy effect. And inherently, powders are ashy. It's a powder. It's a filler. So they impart some type of opaqueness and whiteness to the skin. So I'm looking to have the most transparent powder that mattifies my skin. I call myself a grease monkey. So in the lab, if they want to try something on that's really mattifying, they're like, okay, let's bring it to Balanda. Actually, I just got a text saying, okay, did you evaluate that product? Because I need your feedback so I can make sure I can submit it or not. Because if it works on you,
it'll work on anyone.
That's funny.
I'm really a grease monkey. So, we get to evaluate and to play. But really, the goal is to have something that's matte, that doesn't impart any color and looks natural.
Yeah, because I always look at translucent powder and I'm like, but it looks white. How does that work on
translucent? Is not translucent for me.
It's not.
Translucent is ghost for me.
You can see if someone put translucent powder on you, we'd see it.
Most of them, yes.
Lies. You're gonna make the next best powder. I'm sure of it.
Is there anything else that you're obsessed with? You're into mascara. We want that great powder.
What's on your lips right now?
Beautiful lip color.
Today I am wearing Maybelline Matte Vivid.
Ooh.
And I don't typically wear
too
color.
matte.
I was just going to say, did you top it with something?
No, that's probably my natural
That's
oil
just your
spray.
natural
You're very
shine.
lucky. See, this is when it benefits you.
But it stays on. Like this has been on for a few hours now, and I haven't touched it up. So
Wait,
this is like a very
wand,
vivid.
like that wand. Like
it's a wand.
It's like an opaque
It's
tube.
transparent, and the top is black.
Okay.
It says Maybelline Matte Vivid Ink, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's one of my new toys for this summer. But I really don't ever do color. Like I'm the most blah person when it comes to a lip color.
Skin and then a lip color. And let's talk hair before we let you go. Who did these braids? Gorgeous.
Oh, so I have my cousin owns a hair salon, and this is called my summer protective hair. So I have my hair corn rolled into these really long strands.
Shout her out. Who's your cousin? We want to give her some love.
Crazy enough, her name is Balanda too.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So I told her mother was not creative. I was born first, and then she.
Is that your mom's sister?
My mom's sister had a
God,
daughter,
can you imagine?
and she named her
funny.
Balanda. So growing up, I was like, "Why do you have my
Is
name?"
it a family name? Like,
No, it came from a Spanish soap opera, apparently, from my mother.
That's
told
funny.
me.
So Balanda the hairstylist and
Yes.
Balanda the color chemist.
Yes, and her salon is called Hair For You in Irvington, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks gorgeous.
All right,
Thank
Jersey,
you.
you hear that?
Keeping it in the family.
Well,
Yes.
you look great. We can't
Thank
see what
you.
else you're going to roll out.
And I'm excited
It'll
about
be
these powders
fun.
to come, and I'm going to go keep trying some more mascaras, I think.
Yeah, you should.
Okay. Thanks, Balanda.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We hope you enjoyed the show.
It's your reviews and feedback that help us make the podcast even better. Head over to iTunes to rate and review us, or email your thoughts to info@fatmascara.com.
We also want to answer your beauty questions and hear what products you love. To share a Razor One product review or to ask a beauty question, email us at info@fatmascara.
If you send it as a voice memo file, we can even share your voice on the podcast. You can also do that by leaving us a voice message. Our phone number in the United States is 646-481-8182.
Thanks so much for listening.